What does our country come to? Review after review, even by the biggest, greatest legal scholars, some of whom don't like Trump. Like Alan Dershowitz said, I don't want to vote for Trump. I never voted for Trump. I don't believe him, actually. I think he does, but he does that to give himself a little credibility with his friends, the Democrats. I think he votes for me, personally. But he even said, in 60 years of practicing law, it's the worst abuse I've ever witnessed. I've never seen anything like it. There's no case here.
Former President Donald Trump slamming the ongoing investigation into alleged hush money payments made to adult entertainer Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. The man that was mentioned in part of that speech there, Alan Dershowitz, is a professor emeritus at Harvard University. He's the author of the new book, Get Trump, and he joins us now on National Report. Sir, welcome to the program. You got a shout out there from President Trump. He apparently does not believe that you didn't voted for him. Which I find funny. Did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, in the post that he made, I don't think it's Twitter, it's whatever his post is, he says he endorsed my book. And he said, Alan enjoys saying, I didn't vote for Trump. I believe he probably did, just uses that phrase for any credibility. But it doesn't matter. He's a brilliant guy who wrote a very important special book. It's called Get Trump. And so I'm pleased with his endorsement of the book. His endorsement helped bring the book to bestseller status on Amazon.com. So even though he insists on saying that I voted for him, and who knows, maybe I will, depending on who the candidate on the other side is, but I did not vote for him in the last two elections. In fact, my wife was doubtful about who I would vote for, so she insisted on videotaping my voting for Biden in the last election. So we actually have a videotape in which I'm filling out the absentee ballot for Biden. I'd be happy to send that to President Trump so he can become convinced that I didn't vote for him. But he says to me every time he talks to me, what do I have to do to get your vote? And so, it's a working process.
Yeah. Okay. Fascinating. We'll see if it changes at the next rally. But while we're here, let's talk about your new book, because it does fit in well with what we're experiencing right now from the DA of New York, Alvin Bragg. He wants to get Trump, specifically on these financial records, potentially updating a misdemeanor to a felony charge. Based on what we know of Bragg's case so far, including the testimony of Michael Cohen that the grand jury would have heard, do you expect Donald Trump to be indicted this week?
Well, I would hope not. I would hope grand jurors finally would do what they were supposed to do under the Constitution, defend the rights of defendants. And grand jurors will say, look, there's no case here. We've looked at the case. Bragg tried to keep material from us. He didn't call Cohen's lawyer, Costello, as a witness. He volunteered to come in. He didn't give us 300 of his emails. What is he hiding from us? And I would hope the jurors would understand, too. By the way, the title of my book, Get Trump, it's a nice title, but it's not original with me. It was Letitia James's campaign slogan, along with Bragg. They promised if they got elected, they would get Trump. The basic theory was, look, we have to get Trump. Otherwise, we're not going to get reelected. I don't know what crimes there are. We'll look through the statute books. Maybe we'll find something. But the goal is to get Trump, whether we find something or not. And they went through the statute books, and they found nothing. So they made up a misdemeanor, which was beyond the statute of limitations. Then they created a federal felony, which the federal government wouldn't prosecute. And they added it together and got 1 and 1 equals 11. And so they went ahead and prosecuted. I would hope that wiser minds would prevail, both within the grand jury and within the office of Bragg. I know some of the people in that office. Some of them are my former students. They're thoughtful and intelligent people. And they have to be telling Bragg, look, you can't do this. First of all, you can't put Cohen on the witness stand. You know he's going to lie. And a prosecutor ethically cannot use a witness who he knows is going to lie. So I'm not optimistic as grand juries will indict a ham sandwich. We know that. But I would be hopeful, at least, that maybe 1 or 2 or 3, you need 12, grand jurors would say, no, we're not buying this.
Yeah. To your point, House Oversight Committee Chair Congressman James Comer was also condemning Alvin Bragg, and he had this to say about the ongoing investigation. Here's that.
This is not a local investigation. This is a federal investigation. He's investigating a presidential candidate, not to mention former president of the United States, for a federal election crime. That has no business being litigated in a local district attorney's office.
As you pointed out, the DOJ passing on this case. So why is it coming now?
Well, first of all, the DOJ passed on it. So did Bragg's predecessor. And so did Bragg originally. And then he obviously got pressure from people, maybe donors, saying, look, George Soros contributed $500,000 to your campaign. How can you be sure that he'll continue to contribute to your campaign? You promised to get Trump. Letitia James promised to get Trump. You can't just drop it. And so I suspect that the political pressures were overwhelming. Now we're seeing pressures on the other side. We're hearing that even some Democrats are saying to Bragg, no, don't go ahead with this case. Certainly don't go ahead with this case first. It's the weakest of the 4 weak cases. And so he seems to be the kind of guy who puts his finger to the wind and figures out which pressures are greater and then proceeds. He loves to say that he ignores politics. Well, if he ignores politics, why did he change his mind? Why did he first say, no, I'm not going to do it, and then say, yes, I'm going to do it, and now hesitate and send the grand jurors home? I guess we'll know better today whether there will be an indictment. But if they use Cohen, he's risking his bar card. You can't put a witness on the stand who you know is going to lie. And any reasonable person knows that Cohen is going to lie. He doesn't know how to tell the truth. He's either lied to his lawyer, lied to the federal government, or he's going to lie now. But there's no way an ethical prosecutor uses somebody like Cohen.
All right, we'll wait and see who the grand jury ultimately believes. Professor Alan Dershowitz, thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.